food waste is a critical issue that affects not only the economy but also the environment and society as a whole. It is not only about feeding people, but also about how to tackle this waste of effort, resources, and time to best manage the situation. Taking note of this in your face problem is Christopher Dipnarine of For My City in C. Welcome, Christopher.
Hi, good morning. How are you? Good day.
I'm good, thank you. First and foremost, let me commend you on thinking about this issue. It is prevalent everywhere, but nobody thinks about what can be done.
Yeah, definitely. Food waste, global waste is a major problem facing, the world right now. And it's like, to me, it's just amazing just to think that if we just divert about 15% of the food we actually waste, we can end hunger. Right. And that's a
Just
stat
15%,
that's just
right?
15% of the over 35 to 40% we actually waste without even buying or producing more food. We could end world hunger, and it's just, it's heartbreaking to think that it's such a tough task to achieve this.
Absolutely. And really amazing that you thought of this process. And you have a slightly different take on this, which we will talk about in a few moments. First and foremost, tell us why is environmental sustainability important in the management of food?
It breaks down into a couple of phases, right? When you tie into everything, when you tie into all the resources we waste in growing food, that's just being thrown away, right? The food that we rescue at For My City, all of this food is not food that even made it to the retailer, right? So it hasn't even made it to places where people can purchase this food. This is at the distributor level, the manufacturer level, that we have rescued over 180 million pounds of food. So this food hasn't even made it to like retail stores for people to actually try to purchase. So that just tells you the volume of food we're wasting on this level. So when you think about environmental sustainability, people just think about, oh, you just take the food and you dump it. But what about all the resources that goes into growing the food? All the resources goes
Exactly.
into packaging this
True.
food. All the resources into shipping, right? So, we could tackle by just tackling the food waste problem from the start. We could eliminate all of these other wasted resources that's creating all this harmful effect on our environment, and we can end hunger while doing it. So, and that's what we've done here at For My City. We've really closed the loop on the entire food waste cycle, and incorporating a big part of it is incorporating addressing hunger in communities.
Super. So I would love to hear about the different phases that you have at your nonprofit. What happens to the uh, food wastage in the food system? In the sense, when you say it's at the distributor level, what happens at that food? Why is it considered waste? Is it because it has gone bad or
Not
some other
really.
reason?
So at For My City, we focus on environmental sustainability through the diversion of food waste, or potential food, right? Food waste. So phase one is source reduction, which is our biggest phase. This is where we educate our distributors, educate farmers, educate our consumers about ways to stop food waste, ways to reduce food waste. We do this with our distributors through food waste audits, proper inventory management techniques, ways to sell the food better, right? And this is where like a lot of the bulk of food waste comes from in our country, especially here in America. Is just like our food waste system. There's so much restrictions on food and the way you handle food, the way you process food, the way you sell food, that it makes it very difficult for farmers and distributors to manage that, especially if you're on a small scale, right? Without technology and all these different things. So the bulk of food we rescue comes from just poor management, poor inventory management. And everything that we distribute is all edible food. Nothing has passed expiration date. Nothing has passed best buy date. It's just stuff that's sitting in people's inventory that they can't sell. Right. So, growing techniques, ordering techniques, better management of their systems can really makes a tremendous effect on the operation. And these are things that we help them with. Phase two is feed the hungry, right? So, and this goes into two parts. We feed families and we feed animals. Whatever is edible to families, we divert. And like I said, we've never distributed anything has passed an expiration date or is not
Yes.
human, edible by humans, right? And even to our animal friends, like lettuce and cabbages and stuff. Whatever animal friends can eat, we divert to them too. Phase three is industrial and commercial use. So we take corn waste and sugarcane bagasse and we make biodegradable products. So anything that you can make in plastic, we could pretty much replicate in the food industry. So like plates, cups, knives, spoons, anything you use in the food industry, we could pretty much make in biodegradable products utilizing the sugarcane bagasse and the cornstarch waste that we produce across the world. And then phase four is composting. So we've created our own line of technology that takes any type of food waste, and we're talking meats, biodegradable products that we produce, any type of organic waste, and turns it into usable soil in a 24-hour cycle. And then now we take that soil and we give it out to community gardens. We give it out to local farmers, and they can now regrow and start that cycle again. So when you think about closing the loop
Wow,
on wasting resources, that's what For My City has successfully done.
that's amazing. You've thought of every aspect of food and how it can be utilized at every stage.
Exactly. Yep. And that's what we call
So,
closing the loop.
yeah, that's wonderful. Let's take a break to understand what Chezuba is. Everyone at some point ponders on how this beautiful life can be made more meaningful. Maybe you're a leader trying to enhance your employees' experience at your organization. Or you already work for the community and seek volunteers with state of the art skills to strengthen your nonprofit. Whatever your situation, know that you can make a difference. Chezuba began with this very vision, a vision to facilitate every skill and every passion in the world in meeting a social need. Corporate volunteering has several benefits for both businesses and organizations. In parallel, experienced and enthusiastic volunteers join NGO workers, enabling them to serve the community more effectively. Chezuba offers everyone looking to add purpose and meaning to their lives a chance to connect or volunteer virtually with nonprofit organizations from over 100 countries around the world. Visit www.chezuba.net and explore opportunities to find meaning. Chezuba, your platform to do good. And now, back with our guest. Tell me, did this take a long time to organize, to set up? How long did it take for you to set up this entire system?
The funny thing about it is really it didn't take that long because the system has been there, right? Like you have the food waste hierarchy that was designed by the EPA umpteen years ago. I grew up in the Caribbean. I grew up food insecure. I grew up in the little island of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. And I grew up food insecure as a kid. And when I became successful in my business ventures, and I kept seeing this problem when I go to restaurants and eat. I see how much waste is there, and I go outside and I see homeless people hungry, and I see all the commercials on TV, kids starving, donut here. And I started researching, food waste in the country, and I was like, there has to be a better system. There has to be a better system to divert this food. So I actually launched For My City in 2018, October of 2018, just saying that I can create a better system through the management of food waste. And since then, like I said, we've diverted over 180 million pounds of food to families facing hunger. And none of this food has been purchased. We've never spent one dime on buying food since we launched For My City. So everything we've
That is
diverted
awesome.
has all been food that is edible that would have otherwise been wasted.
Wow, that is super. And who do you have with you as a partner?
So it's just us For My City. We have partners like Amazon and Walmart and nearly all major food distributors we have partnerships with in the US. But we're a very very small organization. Believe it or not, we only have 5 employees that are full time with us. We have about 100 and something volunteers, so we're truly a volunteer driven organization. I'm the
Wonderful.
executive director and founder. I'm also the truck driver. I'm also the
I
warehouse
noticed
manager.
that.
um, but we have such a good volunteer network. We currently don't even have a CEO. It's a position that I released because it does not make sense to pay someone the salary to do pretty much, nothing. So, I rather pay that to our volunteers. I rather pay that to, the people that are handling our administrative stuff. Um, that's where we rather spend our money. As a nonprofit, we've had like the lowest management expense out of any nonprofit across the world. We even credited on Forbes for having that. I think in 2020 we had like
Wow,
$1,500 in executive management. That
awesome.
was it.
That is a management lesson to be learned.
Yes, it is, and that's where, like I said, when I wanted to create for my city, I wanted to create something that has never been done, and we're showing people that with just the power of unity and volunteering and community
Absolutely.
focus, we can help end hunger, and we can also help end food waste by just people just getting together.
So, Chris, tell us what is the one way that an individual can make a difference in the way he consumes food and avoids wastage?
Just awareness. Being aware of your eating habits, being aware of, your just your daily living habits of how you process food, and understand that there are hungry people out there. There are people that can use the food that you're potentially
Absolutely.
gonna waste, and be appreciative of it. So don't let the one or two bad apples deter you from giving to someone, right? So we always say, every like I always make a joke with people, every bite I take on something or every bite I waste on something, that's some food that somebody else can be eating, right? So being conscious of how we eat and our eating habits, and our buying habits, right? When we go to the grocery stores, even if an apple has a blemish on it, that's still edible. So don't
That's
don't
fine. Yeah.
don't just take all the good stuff and leave all the bad stuff, right? The fruit and the vegetables with a little bit of flaws, they are still edible, right? Just like us as humans, we all have flaws. The food is still edible. You can still use it. So be a little mindful of these little shopping habits, these little buying habits, and know that ugly food is still edible food. So
Yeah, actually, you know what they say that food that is not exactly looking perfect is the food that nature intended it to be,
exactly.
and it's tastier.
I agree 100%.
Yes, wonderful talking to you, Chris. It was lovely. You're doing great work, and I wish people would make a change in their daily living and avoid food wastage.
Thank you.